record button. We are on the air, folks. We are on the air. Are you sharing my screen? No, I'm not sharing the screen yet. You're just seeing what I see. You know, like your, oh, hold on. Yeah, your desktop, all the users up there. Hold on a second. We will share Toot Suite. Here we go. Click on that. So I'm going to share screen number 1. And I am going to, as you can see here, I've got what's called Cygwin up, and this is supposed to be something like your Chrome OS, although I don't have a very good idea as to how good a duplication this is of the Linux operating system. So we'll just go into Windows 10. Here we are in Windows 10. And there's all your, there's your bright space window. I'm going to, first of all, let's see. First of all, let's just bring up Notepad from the beginning. I just got rid of Notepad, but I'm going to bring it back up. And hold on. I'm going to bring it back up, and let's do this. Let's see. Well, I can bring Notepad there. I always got it tacked on there. But for most of you, you probably don't have Notepad up there. So if you don't know where to find it, just type Notepad, and the application just summons itself up there. Now, I also have this other Notepad called Notepad++, which is open source, and you can definitely use that to edit your HTML page, no problem. This is also a plain text editor, which has the extra added bonus of something called syntax highlighting. But what I'll do is I'm going to do what most of you are going to do. You're going to go into Notepad. So let's all do this together, or at least let's all watch how we are all about to do this sort of thing. So when I call up Notepad, it says Untitled. Now right away, I can hit Save As, just so I can give it a file name. I'm saving it under Documents. And notice that Save As Type is there. This is super important. You do not want to save it as text. You do not want to save it as .txt. This is one of the most stubborn features of Notepad. If you give it your own extension up here, like let's say I say iot.html, right? You'll find that it'll save the file with iot.html .txt. It just tacks it onto the end senselessly like that. So don't do it. Okay, here's what you do instead. You just say all files, okay, and now do what you were going to do, iot.html. Now it'll just do an HTML extension. So that's one thing you got to watch out for. So now I have a file named iot.html. It's on my so-called My Documents drive. Well, let's do this. Remember that HTML is tag based. Of course, I can always type any junk I want as if this were plain text, and the web browser will read it. Okay, well, in fact, I'll make it even more junky. I'll do this to it and maybe stick in a whole bunch of spaces or something where they don't belong, and maybe stick another thing in there and do this. It's not enough carriage returns. Here we go. And then when I hit save, all of that is saved to the hard drive in the My Documents folder. So let's go into Windows Explorer. That's this guy. And let's go to, well, okay, where do I go now? I could go to My Documents, right? And then I think I can even type IoT, because I remember iot.html. And notice that my default browser is actually Firefox. So when I double click this, Firefox does come up, or it, gives me a choice. I like to use Firefox. And notice, look what it did, right? And remember, that was the original text. The original text was this stuff. So as you can see, the hypertext markup language does not obey normal spacing. If you want spacing in your document, you have to tell it, okay? You have to tell it using commands. So there's always a command for anything you want to do. In fact, well, why don't we just, okay, you know what? We know that this is supposed to be one sentence, so I'm just going to bring this all back. We'll just make this. And, oh. Okay. Now, if I do it this way, notice that if I write my text this way, which looks a little more normal, and I reload, oh, hold on, I got to save my work. And now let's reload the page here to see what changed. It's as if nothing changed. But if I go to view source, view page source, you can see exactly word for word, carriage return for carriage return, exactly what I typed, right? It's exactly what I typed, and it's exactly the length of the lines. If we now go backwards and put in, oh, I see, it only does the last change. So if we go doing that crazy stuff we did earlier and put in crazy spacing and all other manner of chaos, what happens now? So once again, we'll save, and we know what's going to happen here. So we just reload the page. Again, nothing's happened, or nothing appears to happen. But when we view page source, look what Firefox knows I did. It knows exactly, key press for key press, everything that I put in. But as HTML, this is how it presents it to the end user. Okay, well, you know what? That's taken as normal for HTML. HTML is not supposed to, I mean, if you just give it normal text with no commands whatsoever, it won't obey any unusual spacing or any unusual new lines. In fact, as you can see, it doesn't obey any new lines. And if there's multiple spaces between words, it reduces it to one space. So in other words, you can still read the text. The words are not smooshed all together without spacing. The spaces are there, but not as many as I stuck in to this document. All right, let's go back to what we were doing. And I'm just going to go back to the sensible way of doing this here. Okay. And web browser will read it. I'm going to leave it like that. Now, I want to make this into a web page. So I go to the top. The first command I enter is HTML. You always do this at the top of the code, and at the bottom of the code, you close your tag. And you close your tag with a / and the same command as you started with. Okay, that's how HTML works. You have an opening tag which has no /, and you have a closed tag which has a /. So the / goes on the closing tag. This tells the HTML interpreter that I'm ending my file. But this isn't enough. All HTML files have some kind of a header, and you just use the head command and you close it using head. Now, sometimes a lot of stuff can go in there. Language specifications, you can read in additional source files like CSS files, JavaScript files. They can all go into the header. But we're not going to do anything with the header right now. We don't need to. We can, in fact, we could even just delete this totally, but I'm going to leave it. And then the thing that tells HTML that this is the part I want you to present to the browser. And this is called body. It's like the body of an email. It's the part that your friend reads when you send your friend an email. And you close that body tag with /body inside angle brackets. Okay, we call these angle brackets, but they're not, I don't know, we're using them as brackets, but I have always known them as a math teacher to be greater than and less than signs. But in HTML, it's okay to call them angle brackets because that's exactly how you're using them. You're using them as brackets to enclose an HTML command. Okay, so that is body. And again, it won't result in much of a change. So if I do that, but at least what we have here is legal HTML. And that means that we're not guessing. So if I now reread this file, you notice nothing seems to happen. But if we view the page source, all of a sudden it's viewed with all the HTML commands in there. So it did read the file in, even though nothing appears to change in the text. But what if we wanted paragraphs? It would be kind of annoying to, oh, hold on. So it would be annoying for, say, this new paragraph that I'm trying to write in to be the same paragraph as the one above. But the bad news is it will be. So if I save that, and if I now read that in, look, it didn't even do a line break. It just kept typing. It just kept going on. So your first command that you're going to learn is how to make a paragraph in HTML. And you do that using paragraph tags. These are very short tags. It's P, and you end your paragraph with /P. So those are your paragraph tags, and you do the same thing to the one there, P and /P. And now we save, and look what happens. There we go. All of a sudden, we now have two separate lines. And in HTML, these are called paragraphs. Your English teacher would tell you that if you had to write these paragraphs, you should indent the first line in a paragraph. And as you can see here, it's not doing that. So in HTML, you sort of get used to new paragraphs not being indented. That's just the way HTML rolls. Okay, now, all right, so those are how you do paragraphs. Now, okay, so some people say they have Notepad++. Actually, in Notepad++, this actually might look a lot nicer. I will show you what this looks like under Notepad++. Notepad++. We'll go here, call this up. Oh, no, I don't want to download. Okay, so save file. No, I'm not saving a file. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm going to save this as an HTML file. New one .html. Okay, so I also don't like spaces in my file names, so I'm going to have _1. Save it. You don't have permission to save at this location. Oh, yeah, of course not. I got to save it under my documents. So let's go to documents. And let's save it there. All right, all of a sudden, Notepad does a structured thing that if you want to hide certain details, you could. Like, for example, if you want to hide the header information, you can just click on the box here where it says minus, and it just hides the details. If you want to hide all of the body, you can do that too. If you want to hide a paragraph, you can do that, right? And then it just shows you the first line of the paragraph. So, you know, there's some nice things about Notepad++. Again, your mileage may vary. I'm not going to talk about it, but if you want to download it, it's open source. and it's a really good program if, you know, if you want to program, if you want to write programs and source code and write scripts and stuff. It's a really good, it's a lot better than just using this notepad editor, although this notepad editor is just fine. I mean, you know, it just doesn't have any features except save and, you know, things like that. It doesn't really have any tangible features. Okay, now I wanted to show you another file that was done earlier. Actually, you know what? Here, what I'm going to do, you might have noticed that the font is, you know, not all that great. The font, as you can see here, the text is actually very small. And of course, you can make it bigger by using your mouse wheel on the control button, but I don't want to do that. I want to be able to present this to the person, to the end user, already as the size that I would like the user to see, not require the user to always try to change the size of my fonts. So if, okay, the only thing is, okay, you know what? Here, let's take a look at source code I have. Oh, I have to go into the 6. Okay, documents. Sorry guys, this is a bit of a dig. I got a lot of directories here. Math. Oh, we're not going to math. We're going to comp sci. And then ICE-T. TEE is the tech, computer technology option. ICS20. I don't know if we have. Was there an HTML here? Any language? No. Audio, Java. I don't know what this is. I don't know my own directories. Yeah, you can laugh. Okay, SRC. No, that's Java. That's Visual Basic. Okay, it is now official. I don't know where to look. However, one of my problems is I have an enormous operating system with 14 terabytes of storage, and the disadvantage of having such a vast amount of storage as I have is that sometimes it's hard to find something, especially if you haven't looked at it in a while. So let us go to, okay, here we go. Well, let's go here. Similar directory tree, but this is more up to date. Let's see if I can find anything decent here. ICS, PD, computer science, oh, ICS, of course. Online 2020, that's us, isn't it? Oh, wait, did I see something? Oh, student 2020 sheet. Okay, SRC, Java, JavaScript, D2L. Let's see, final project? No. General programming. Okay, like I told you, it's official. I don't know where anything is. It looks like any language. Nope. Assignment booklet, audio. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just go into the slideshow, because I know that some pertinent source code is there anyway. I don't have to look that hard. I just, right now, at this point, I can't find the original source code. It may well be on Google Drive or something. Hold on. Okay, so here we are, and let's go into content. And oh, first of all, I should view as student. I got to go into content again now. Okay, and go here, loops and arrays, and go way down to the bottom. So here's the presentation for creating a web page. I just want to go to present. So I think nearly everyone got a good dose of this presentation. I don't know if I went to the end or not for anyone, but in case you didn't see the end of this, because I was going into doing the HTML business, You can see that a web page has a lot of features on it. It has menus, it has graphics, it has lots of different fonts, and they're carefully chosen by people who know a lot about design and stuff like that. And so, you know, it takes a lot of different professionals to, you know, put together a website, not just programmers, but people who know about good taste in web design. That's why some websites look very attractive, but they're also technologically very good. How is it put together? Well, how is the text managed? How are the fonts chosen? So right now we're just going to talk like designers, people who talk like putting text together, at least in a very basic way. So I just told you that you can open an HTML. The very first command you see in HTML is the HTML tag, which is here. And then inside the HTML, the open and close HTML tag, that's what we call it, open and, you know, the one without the / and the one with one. We call that the opening and closing tags. And then inside it are the body tags. But notice something else. You can actually write comments in HTML, meaning that I can go here to where? To Notepad, and I can say something like, that begins a comment, and I can write my comment like that, and I end my comment like that. Now, if I save that, we could go back to Firefox, reload that page, and oh dear, oh, that didn't work out. This is a comment. It's probably because I got the characters wrong. I think maybe the exclamation point comes first. Hold on. Yeah, the exclamation point comes first, so there you go. Okay, so I got this part backwards. The exclamation point comes before the 2 dashes, not the other way around. And so save, and now it's good. And if I view page source, you can see that the comment is right there, okay, in the source, and it read it and presented it to the reader like this. Okay, so still, this is just a comment for someone reading the file, reading the HTML source file, and it's for the benefit of the person who maybe wants to make changes or something. Okay. All right, so let's go back here. So where does your document go? Well, it goes inside the body tags. Notice I don't have the head tags. You don't really need the head tags if you're not using them. So technically, I can just get rid of this. I can get rid of this and everything would still be fine, right? I can save that, bring that, go back to Firefox, reload the page, view page source. Oh, sorry. View page source, and look, no head tags. But still, it didn't change the file. It didn't change how the user sees it. The user doesn't see any difference, right? So the head is only good if you're maybe doing something with it. Like, for example, introducing external files, external source code. Like, for example, introducing JavaScript. For example, that's like the most common reason to use the head files, but also to make other settings and tweaks that you know could affect your web page. So if you have Windows, then your Notepad editor, your HTML editor is Notepad. Okay, so Notepad is the most common editor. You can use Notepad++ if you download from open source. Another thing is you could also do this. Here, let me go into this other system, which maybe you have this. Maybe you're running Chrome OS. So I'm pretending you're running Chrome OS. Now I have to confess, I couldn't find the editor I was looking for in Chrome OS. Not Chrome OS, in this operating system, which is kind of like Chrome OS. It's mostly like Chrome OS, but not the same operating system. Notice there's stuff here for programmers. There's stuff here for education. There's games. Just it tries to be like Windows. It tries. Anyway, the editor that I use is called NEdit. NEdit, and hold on. Let's see if I have. Okay, I'm going to do NEdit IoT.html. Now, when it calls up NEdit, notice it can't find. It says it can't find IoT.html, but there's a reason. It's because I'm trying to create that file and put content in it. Okay, so I can just tell it to say new file. All right. NEdit is, to be honest with you, really just a clone of Notepad. There isn't really much else. There's not a whole other. I mean, you can execute shell commands or something, but you know. But to be honest with you, you can mostly just use it like Notepad, which is a very basic editor. So if you're in Chrome, maybe you have this application. That's something I don't know. Basically, you would be going into a terminal window like this one. And again, I don't even know if you have access to a terminal window. That's another question too, if you have Chrome OS. So, you know, once again, I'm just going to put that source code over here. I'm going to select all of it, and I'm going to go back into Cygwin, or my so-called Chrome OS, and just paste it into this file. And then save it. I'm going to save it. Now, the thing is, what's the web browser in this? Well, I mean, I think Opera is often used in Chrome OS. So is Chrome. I don't know if I can call Chrome from. Okay, somebody has their mic on and just sneezed into the microphone. It's not that we're going to catch anything, but it just sounds gross. Just, if you could, please turn your mic off. Thank you. All right? All right. Okay. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. Take some flu medication or something. Okay, so now I'm going to, I don't know if I have Opera. No, of course I don't. Let's see, Midori. Okay, we're getting into very, very obscure web editors. Midori, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Midori, but it's a very obscure web editor. But you probably have Chrome if you have Chrome OS, so you don't have to worry about poking around your operating system to see, oh, do I have this? Do I have this? I know you have Chrome if you have Chrome OS. You do. Otherwise, not called Chrome OS for nothing, right? Midori IoT.html. And when we call Midori, Midori brings up the file exactly the way Firefox did. It has a different font, I guess, you know, but you can see it kind of did the same thing. Can I view the source? Of course I can. Although it takes a while. Oh, there is an app called Mousepad. Do you have Mousepad on Chrome? I never heard of Mousepad. Sounds neat. Why don't we call up Mousepad then? I'm going to, yeah, Midori has a lot of error messages. Okay, so this is just proof that IoT.html exists. So Mousepad, eh? Mousepad. Okay. And if I do IoT.html, what does it do? Okay, it gives me a lot of errors, but at least it presents me the file. Okay, so like I said, basically all of these editors that I'm showing you operate pretty much exactly the same way, command for command, as Notepad. So I'm just going to get out of Mousepad and back into Notepad, and I'm just going to use Notepad from here on in. All right. And I am going to shut the window because there's too much mayhem outside. Yes, this is what I get for living in downtown Mississauga, right across from Square One. It's insane, insane. Okay, try being here at 4 in the morning. You hear people revving their engines and stuff. But at least this is the middle of the day. You don't mind it so much. But I'm trying to make a recording. All right. IoT.html. So this is a comment, body, whatever. So we're going to edit in here. Now we're going to go back to the slideshow. So all of your content, including any illustrations, any files you call in, has to go between the body tags, between open body and closed body, right? So in between those tags, everything goes in terms of your content, in terms of paragraphs, words, hyperlinks, illustrations, things like that. Okay, that sort of stuff. And those are all the things that you guys are going to be concerned about. I'm not going to teach you any sort of advanced concepts here. We're just trying to get something going here. This is annoying. Okay, let's get rid of that. All right, so let's just move that out of the way. Oh yeah, you can. It's possible if you're at school to save it to your G drive, and if you do save it to your G drive, you can actually go into Chrome, into the student portal for BYOD, and if you want to see your G drive, you go to My Files and click here, and you can actually download any file that's on your G drive right there, right through this file window. You can go to any file you like the student handbook. I can right click on it, and I'm given all kinds of options. Okay, so I can download this PDF, and it'll actually present me a dialog to do that. So you can see here that actually the BYOD thing, if you have any files that you like to access on your G drive and you're at home and you have no way of getting to school, click on My Files and it's all on here, okay? Conversely, you can upload, using the upload button, upload your HTML file to G drive. That means the only advantage that gives you is that when you go to school, it's there. You don't need to save it to a memory stick or anything like that. So the G drive is there for you. You don't have to, in other words, you can just walk to school, or however you get to school, come in, and your file's waiting there for you on G drive when you come around. So that's kind of a neat idea. I don't know if anyone knew of that feature, but it's really important, especially since you guys are spending a lot of time home and you're spending only some of your time at school. So it's kind of important that you're able to access your files if you save anything to G drive. Of course, it also, don't forget, you can upload to G drive too. You can put files on your school drive. Okay, any questions about G drive? Because that was a sidetrack, but I thought it was an important sidetrack. Okay, all right. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay, let's say that you have a source code, which maybe all you did. Oh, sorry. You're in Notepad, and say all you did was, instead of typing all this stuff, you typed, say, hello world. Right? And that's all you did. Now, if you went into your browser and called that up, this here is what that would look like. So let's say that this is your browser window, this rectangle. Then hello world would look something like this. Chances are your web browser normally, Midori is a little different, but normally a web browser presents you a font in Times Roman unless you say something different. Okay, Times Roman is always the font that's chosen unless you select something. So let's say that we want to make it into a headline font, and that's using H1. Well, H1 implies there must be an H2, and what's that all about? Well, in fact, the headline fonts go all the way to 6. The biggest size is 1. The smallest size in headline fonts is 6. And when we present this file, like let's say that we have this here, let's say we do this. H1, H1. Okay, so if we do that, oh, sorry, I forgot to close this angle bracket. So if we do that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and notice I have to change these two and do the same here. Then if I save that and I read it in Firefox, this is what it looks like. So the H1 is the biggest font. The H2 is smaller and smaller. It gets smaller all the way down to H6, where it appears to be smaller than normal Times Roman, it would appear, although all of the fonts are in boldface. If we look at the source, it's exactly what I typed in. No changes, okay? All right. Okay, so this is what we have. Well, okay, you can also do lists in HTML. I used to teach biology, so I used to take biology courses. I did teach biology, but there's like the 6 kingdom system in biology. It might actually be more than 6 kingdoms by now, might be at least 7. But here actually that is 7 kingdoms. It looks like I can't count. Plants, animals, protozoa, algae, fungi, bacteria, and archaea. So you have 7 kingdoms, and notice that we have OL as the open tag, and it's closed by a /OL. And each item in that list, called a list item, that's why it's called LI. LI stands for list item. And it's closed by a closed tag for LI. So the beginning and end of a list item is here. And we just keep going down. These are all list items. The OL stands for ordered list. Ordered list, meaning that when you read this in HTML, this will automatically format to produce numbers, a numbered list going from 1 to 6, sorry, 1 to 7. So I can do that here too. I can call this OL and close my OL. And now I have to call these all LI. Oh. Do the same to the other side. Close tags have to be the same. Now this isn't much of an ordered list because every item in that list says hello world, so it's not very exciting, but at least you can see this in action. I save it, I read it in Firefox, reload it, and I get this, an ordered list of hello world in normal text. That's because I got rid of all the headline fonts. And if I view page source, it's exactly what I typed. As usual, of course, it would always be exactly what I typed. And there you go. So back here, notice that this is what we get. So we got an ordered list from 1 to 7. And now we can change OL to UL, and that would be an unordered list. And an unordered list in Microsoft Office terms is a bulleted list, just a bulleted list. So if I save this, I get rid of all my numbers, but I get a bulleted list. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So all the numbers turn into bullets. That's what these heavy dots are, indicating a new item. Okay, but for a bulleted list, the implication is the order doesn't really matter all that much, maybe. And so once again, view page source, it's exactly what we just typed. So now, here's where we get into some other things. What if we wanted to do some fancy color manipulation? You know what? I should actually do something else. I did say earlier that I didn't like the font here. I mean, the font for one thing is too small. Um, there is, I don't know immediately of a way to change the font, but I know that I have to do it in a style tag. Or, you know, I could say H1. H1 is like a headline font. It'll make it nice and giant, but maybe I don't want H1. Let's use H3. So, okay, so that means let's just take what? Maybe what I'll do is go H3. This is some web page content that is an example. Okay, and I close my H3 tag. Don't forget to open any tags you close. You have to make it a habit because that's how HTML works. Any command like H3 only has effect up until it sees a close tag. And once it sees a close tag, it stops with that regulation. But of course, I want a style. I don't know if I can specify a font. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look this up. HTML font style H3, well, H1. What works for H3 will work for H1. So I am blue, I am red. So tag name style. How about, okay, I'm going to get fussy. It's font, not font style, but font face. Okay, so now how about if I just use the font tag? We still have style that affects the font, but yes, I wanted font family. So something like this one, Verdana. Verdana is a nice web-based font, which is quite modern. So style equals family, and I think you put a colon there, and you go Verdana. It's a good one. And don't forget, you have an open quote over here. You got to close your quote here. And now, when I don't need to close my style tag because it's inside the H3 tag, so I don't need to do anything extra. So I don't know if I can also say font size. You know what? I don't know if I can. Maybe it's semicolon. I'm going to have to take a look. Okay, hold on. Font family, Verdana, font family, Courier New. Font size. Okay, I don't want to have two style tags, but I know I can continue a font style tag and go something like font. I'm trying to go from memory here. Font size, and I'm going to say 16 point. Although I don't think that's a very big font, but 12 point is pretty average. I wanted to make it a little bigger than average, and let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see, that H3 font is pretty good. If we repeated that font without the style tag, let's just take a look what that would look like, but still using H3. So we're going to use H3. We're going to get rid of all this font information, meaning that we're going to repeat the same content again with the normal H3 default font sizes and font choice. And let's see what that looks like. So we're going to save, and hold on. Okay, so all right. So as you can see, the same message. This is 16-point font, and this is whatever the default was for the browser. Okay, so this is H3 as a normal, and notice that it only gives you Times Roman, and it's Times Roman bold. So you can notice that the different styles, I can choose Verdana, and I can choose any font size I want, but notice when I have multiple specifications, I have to separate those specs with a semicolon. The kind of these, where I say style equals, is usually something you don't add to an HTML file because that's usually part of a style sheet, right? What we call a cascading style sheet, or the CSS programming language, which is used just to specify the look and feel of a web page. But we're doing the look and feel in the source code of HTML. We're just going to do it right in there. And can you use, oh, I don't want to choose color yet. I wasn't going to get the color quite yet, okay? But color red, I think, would, color is too vague because you don't know whether you got background or foreground, right? So it would chance the font. It would change the font. I don't think it would change the font. It would change the color. I don't know if it would change the color of the actual font unless you tried it. Did you try it and did it work for you? It worked for you? No? Okay, I don't know. So we could use color, but you know what? The color, I think what you're getting at is this, right? Color brown or something, right? So color brown, you said red, right? It's just a different color. So the word red is a legal color in HTML, and so is the word brown. In fact, any normal color you can think of is quite legal in HTML, well, at least in CSS. I don't remember what it did. I'm pretty sure it changes the color. I just showed you right here. It's right here on the slide. So you're right, it is. It's right here on the slide. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you got H1 style color brown. So it is really changing the font itself, the color of the font itself. Although HTML gets picky as to background and foreground, right? So you got to be careful sometimes. So let's go. I think color is always the foreground, and if you mean background color, there's background hyphen color over here. So there's two different ways to do color. So let's just say font family Verdana, font size blah, and now color. So I have to put in another semicolon, and I have to say color. And look, it's the American spelling of color. I don't know if it allows the British spelling of color or the British Canadian spelling of color with a U, right? This is the Canadian spelling, or Canadian and British. But, just to be on the safe side, we'll keep it with the American spelling. Color doesn't have to be brown. It can be, let's see, I can say midnight blue. I know that's a legal name, except that it has to be one word. Now that's almost black, so I'm afraid you may not see a difference, but let's just be brave and try this out. So let's save that. Let's go into Firefox. And let's see if it blows up, as they say. Well, you can just make out that it's blue. It's not exciting. Let's try something a little nicer. You like red? We're going to do red. Okay, color red. And you know what? Color red is good. So we'll save that. And we're going to go to Firefox, and there you go. Red text. Happy now, Anmeet? Okay, there you go. Here's your red text. And okay, so you can also do okay, so you can also do things like changing the background color. So you can also do background color. I don't know. Midnight blue could work. I don't know. What's a good contrast with red? Yellow? Yeah, yellow. How about yellow? How about a kind of a nicer, juicier yellow, like goldenrod? Goldenrod. That's a nicer yellow. It's really, I like that color. Goldenrod. So let's use that one. So let's save that. And let's see. Okay. Let's go here. And there you go. Ooh, it did not know where to stop doing goldenrod. It just looks like this browser likes goldenrod better than I do. So hold on. So maybe, you know what? How about we just make this a little broader? All right. Yeah, this command is getting to be very detailed. How about if we get the background for something else? How about if we go file equals, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can just do a style tag from out of the blue. Well, let's try it. I don't know. This is something I'm taking a risk with. I'm going way out on a limb here. Style, color. Oh, this is style equals, and then in quotes, background hyphen color. And then close your quote, and then do that. And then, you know what? I'm going to put a carriage return here. Since remember, it doesn't matter about carriage returns in HTML. So I'm going to highlight the phrase web page content, and I'm going to close my style tag. I don't know if, the thing with me is I don't know if a style tag is closable or even if it's a real tag. I think you have to do something else with it. And the thing is that that tag escapes me, but it's actually to close an entity that you want for some random reason. And well, let's just try it. Let's see what it does. The worst that can happen is we don't get any joy. No joy. Okay, so there's no goldenrod here, and that's because I'm theorizing that, oh, I'm sorry. I'm theorizing that it didn't know what to do with the style tag, right? And here's the beginning of the style tag. I think you need span. I think span is the thing. So if you want an entity, just some random entity that you want to treat differently from the rest of your text, you can use the word span and then style, but then you can't close it with style. Now you have to close it with span. And I believe that fixes it. Let's save it. Let's get rid of this, and let's go back here and let's reload. No joy. No joy. Use span style equals background color red some text. But you don't want to use background color red if the foreground color is red. Span style. Oh yeah, span style. Isn't that what I did? What did I do? I thought that's what I did. Span style equals background color. Oh crap, I didn't specify a background color. Oh, that's kind of dumb. Okay, sorry. Background color, I have to actually say what color I want. I didn't say what color I wanted. So let's put the goldenrod here, because I like that color. It's a nice color. There you go. Yay, we did it. We did exactly what we wanted. I wanted this to be highlighted as different than the rest of the text. So you can see here that I can affect the background color and the foreground color. And notice I'm using named colors, right? These colors have names. So red, right? Goldenrod, there's blue, there's green, there's black, there's purple. Well, okay, I'm going to show you in a second where can you get, like, how do you know what names of colors exist? Because not all colors have names. There's 16 million colors in existence. How do you know which have names? Because only maybe less than 200 have names, right? All the rest of the 16 million colors don't have names. So what you do when you name a color using a color name is you sacrifice a little bit of the variety you would get if you took advantage of all 16 million colors, right? So these are just, you know, okay, so we used red and we used this thing called goldenrod, which was kind of a golden yellow color. All right, now it says here for humans, the 147 named colors that are available are often enough. Notice that, yeah, we use brown or we use, you know, Dodger blue. Dodger blue. Let's try Dodger blue. See what Dodger blue looks like. Okay, let's try that. Dodger blue. Dodger blue. And let's save that file. And okay, let's reread it in Mozilla Firefox. And there you go. The highlight is now Dodger blue. Although you can see Some colors work better with red than others. Red is a, sometimes red is a good color, but when you mix it with the wrong background color, it looks really hard on the eyes. Blue and red clash. They're at war with each other. But if we had goldenrod, like this kind of yellowy color, or even just yellow, never mind goldenrod or any other fancy name, just using plain yellow does the trick, right? This is actually easy on the eyes, and you can see that there's a phrase there that's emphasized, right? You can see that, right? Okay, so, all right. But, oh, sorry. So I'm going to bail out of this slide. And I want to go into, okay, where am I? All right, here I am. And I'm going to go to that source code, color names in HTML5. And here are color names. And you can see the color names along with their colors, but also they give you the hex digits that are responsible for those same colors. So it's a really, really nice resource if you want to know what burly wood looks like or what chocolate looks like. I mean, chocolate is not a dark brown color, it's light brown. Cornflower blue, it's kind of a, kind of a very light blue. Cyan, there's dark gray, dark khaki, which is kind of a light color actually. Dark olive green, there's dark green, there's forest green, lots of different greens. There's dark violet, deep pink, fuchsia, which is like pink, really pink, chronically so. Green, as you can see, there's the 127 colors amounts to being quite a long list. All right, and those are your named colors, and those are all the named colors that are available to World Wide Web programmers. And if you wanted to choose a different color, well, there's 16 million to choose from, but you have to specify the hex code, which is your 6-digit code. So that's the idea here. And let's go back to presentation mode, and let's go to the next slide. So the real magic of HTML files is in the links and media. Of course, it's nice to have your text look good, to select your font, to select how heavy the font is, the size of the font, and also the color of the font and the color of the background. Okay, these are all important considerations when you're looking at your document. But of course, the whole point of HTML isn't just looking pretty. It's also providing a link like here to go to a resource. So let's say I wanted to go to google.com and I provided the user with a link. I could do that by providing a link like this one. And so this becomes ahref blah, 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 Google. Okay, let's see if we can put that in our notepad. So I'm going to put a paragraph tag here, and I'm going to go style. You know what? I'm going to put a style tag in my paragraph because I think the font is too small. And I'm going to close my paragraph like that, and I'll type my content in between the tags. That way I don't forget to close my tags. If I open my tag, close my tag, type in between the tags, I don't forget to close my tags. So I hear that ahref, that's an anchor to A is anchor. A is an anchor tag. Href is going to be the resource reference, which is almost always a website. So let's just say http:// google.com. I close that, and then I have to provide a word for the user to click on. So I'm going to say Google, and then I have to close my tag. Well, my tag was an anchor tag. It's A. So I have to go /A. Done. Okay. I hear that Google is great internet engine. And it is one of the great internet search engines. It's amazing. If you lived through the 1990s and the early 2000s, you would really, really be amazed at how advanced Google was in comparison to all the search engines that came before it. It totally revolutionized search engines on the internet, totally revolutionized it. So here we go. Let's save this file. Save that. Let's go to, oh yeah, we were going to go to Firefox. So let's go to Firefox. Here we are. And now let's reload. I hear that Google is a great internet search engine. So if I click on Google, what happens? I reach Google. Okay, so here I am, Google, and obviously they're celebrating something here. Let's hover the mouse. Mary Ann Shad Carey's 197th birthday. I don't believe anyone thinks that she really is 197 years old, but that she was born that far back. So Mary Ann Shad, so if you click on that, usually if it's some historical thing that happened, you can click on the tag and you can see what all that's about. It's kind of, you know, sometimes it's interesting to read. So let's go back. There you go. So this is some web page content. And notice this is continuing in Verdana, the Verdana font, and the Verdana font being 16 point. This is like a fairly large font. And you can see here I got a tag which points to google.com. Okay. Any questions yet? So this is how you put a tag in there so that you can refer to external files or external resources. Omar. I like how my water bottle is invisible and makes a dent in my face. This is really hilarious. And how the bottle just reappears and disappears. Oh, wow. Anyway, are we going to learn how to add pictures? Absolutely. What time is it? 2:24. Oh, crap. We're going to have to learn how to add pictures. I think you're right. This is quick. I'll do it quick. Here, we're going to add a picture now. All right. First of all, I got to have some assurance that the image actually exists. So what I do is I don't know, I'll pick an image from something. I don't know where. Let's just see if I have something on my on my drive. I'll see. Okay, let's go here. Excuse me. I think I can go here. Music, videos. Let's see, 5 terabyte storage. No, 6. Is it on the 6? Of course, it can be. Ad busters, yeah. This is like, oh. Okay, one does not simply. Okay, I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna put it in my documents. One does not simply. That meme. Okay. Obviously, I have some interest in memes. Not a whole lot, by the way, but sometimes they can be very hilarious. Anyway, let's go here. And I think IoT is here, right? So basically, if you want to access the file, you have to know exactly what directory you put it in. I would just put it in the same directory as I put this in. So if IoT is under my documents, then put your other file under my documents. And it doesn't look like that was successful. Let's just try that again. I said one does not simply. Well, okay. Can I copy? All right. Let's go the other way. And if I do that, I go Control V. Okay, that's weird. Can I type a 1? Oh, no. Okay, I don't think I did it. How about if I paste to the, there we go. One does not simply log in. So the graphic looks like this. One does not simply log into my computer. One does not simply, you know, that meme from Lord of the Rings. Okay, so I'm a bit of a Lord of the Rings fan. So here we go. One does not simply underscore log in. I'm going to copy that file name, and I'm going to put that in as a resource into my file. So let's look for Notepad. So here's the tag for that. Image img src equals, and I'm just going to put, oh, hello. There we go. One does not simply log in.jpg. I close the tag, and there is no close tag for img. It's the one exception. It's the one exception that does not have a close tag. Everything else I've taught you so far, like the P has a closing P, the body has a closing body, HTML has closing HTML, your H1, your H2, your H3, they all have closing tags. Your lists, whether they're ordered or not ordered, all have closing tags, but the image does not. Let's save it and see what happens. So let's go here, get rid of this, and reload. There you go. We read the file, and I now have an illustration. Not a great one, but hey, you know, I read one in. Now, the reason this worked is because I knew what directory this was in. This was in the same directory. This graphic, this file, this picture was in the same directory as my HTML file, which is why I could get away with just naming the file and nothing else. Because if it was in a different directory, I would have to give the full path name to that file. That's why I preferred to copy it into the same directory. So all I had to do was just name the file. I didn't have to give this crazy. Okay, so Omar, are you happy now? You now know how to add pictures, and it is now part of the video. And I think we are just about done. Okay, now I am going to, for those of you who just wish to just sit through this, is there a due date for the assignment? Well, because some of you are still working on assignment 4, we can say roughly this assignment can be done in tandem with assignment 4. You can do it at the same time, because sometimes, you know, when you program, you get a little frustrated, and then okay, so now you have something else to do that's maybe takes a little less brain power, like, you know, researching Internet of Things and coding in HTML. Hopefully, I hope you'll find that enjoyable. Can we get to the end of this and then we'll call it a class? I think we're almost at the end. 13, how many slides are there? 3 more. There's 3 more after this. I think we're good. Okay, so including images, like here we go. So this is you know, you could actually do image src, and src has to be the file name. You can also have an alternate text, alt. I didn't provide that in my tag. I just said image src. I did it as simple as I could. But the alt is actually a compatibility feature for anyone who does not have the ability, anyone with browsers that don't have the ability to show images, right? And so you actually show, at least in words, what should have appeared in the image. And you can also specify the height and the width. Like, for example, I can go height equals, you know, 500 px. Oh, this is going to be a monster. Okay, let's just do this. Save. This is going to look like a monster. Look at this. Watch. Let's reload. Boom. Okay, now it's really big. Okay, so I've stretched the thing, and notice that I never specified the width. Notice. What if I specified the width? I don't know. What if the width equal the same? I naively put 500 px. Px stands for pixels. So now, if the height and the width are the same, we must have a square image, which is going to make Boromir look very, very squishy. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's save this file. Save, and let's go back to here and let's reload. Okay, so Boromir is now squishy. So it would be good. It would be the safest thing to only specify one of the dimensions and let the other dimension take care of itself. That way the aspect ratio is maintained and the image doesn't look crazy looking, right? So, so instead of having a squishy Boromir, we'll have somebody who looks half decent, a half decent picture of Boromir. And okay, I like the height better because that was a better thing. But anyway, you get the idea. So going back to the slide, Alt isn't really needed. The height and width can be used. You can use one of them and allow the browser to just figure out the other dimension. You know, because the browser is pretty smart about doing that, so you know you can kind of trust it. And okay, and px is pixels, and notice if you don't indicate any units, it just assumes pixels. I said px in my source code, but I could have just said 500 and it wouldn't have changed anything, I don't think. So if I just say 500, it's supposed to be the same. So if I save that and I reread, it's the same thing, even though the source code now just says 500 for the width instead of 500 px. So, okay, let's keep going. So the source code, you can have a source code like this. I have an unordered list: go home, eat, sleep. Last year, I asked my students, what are 3 things you want to do over the weekend? Go home, eat, sleep. That sounded kind of dreary, but what the heck, you know? Okay, go home, eat, sleep. Okay, that sounds like a teenage thing to some degree. Although socializing to some degree must also fit in there somewhere. Then, okay, so notice I have image src 3 basketballs.jpg. I just happen to have one of 3 basketballs lying around, and I set the height to be 200 pixels. So, and it took care of the aspect ratio. This is what it looks like, and I think we're almost at the end. Pre-formatted text. You know, you remember me putting in crazy spacing and crazy carriage returns? Well, I have a little secret for you. You can have your way using pre-tags. So let's go back to here and let's look at, well, you know what? I'm going to have that, and I'm going to, hold on. I'm going to do this all over again, but using pre-tags. So, meaning that I got to get rid of all this. Pre and pre. Mind you, I should say pre once. I don't need to say it multiple times. And the closed tags for each 3 can go because I got rid of the open tags. And there you go. Now, I'm going to leave this this web link here, but notice I am going to have some crazy spacing. So just to remind you that I can do this, I can do whatever I want here. And these actually will be taken seriously by the browser now using pre-tags. Pre means pre-formatted. So let's take a look. Let's just save. Let's just go back to Firefox and see what happens. There you go. It's exactly what I typed in, like space for space. But look what else happened. I lost all my font information. It's gone. There is no font information. I mean, I don't know if I can say pre, you know, style. I don't know if I can do this. What was it? Font family. So font family. Verdana. I don't know if I can get away with that. Well, let's see if I can get Verdana at least, because if I can get Verdana, I can get everything else. But my feeling is that will all be thrown out the window. Well, okay. I got Verdana and I got my spacing. Okay. You can play with this, by the way. Play with it yourself. See how much font information you can throw into a pre-tag to see even if you can manipulate the colors the way we did up here. But mind you, pre is not where you should be spending your time. Just spend your time doing normal HTML programming. normal HTML coding. Don't use the pre-tags. The reason I don't recommend it is because the behavior of pre is too unpredictable, and it's highly dependent on how big the browser is on the window, and it might be a different size for me than it is for you. Okay, I think we've come to the end. This is actually, the last slide, and we are done. And I'll just stop sharing my window. And okay, so any other last minute questions or anything like that? The slideshow, is there a due date for the assignment? I don't know if I said anything. I said you can do it concurrently with assignment 4, and I don't remember what it did. I'm pretty sure it changes the color. Oh, okay. Somebody is putting an angry face emoji on every comment, which means I don't know what you're angry at. I have no idea. So, so anyway, the due date for the assignment, I mean, this assignment could be done in a couple of days. So what I want you to do is maybe hand it in concurrently with assignment 4. So then assignment 4, the programming assignment. Meaning, okay, what was that? That was the, I was gonna say a game assignment. I don't think we had a game quite yet. I was gonna give out one for a game, but then I changed my mind and gave you this HTML one. But the assignment 4, that's for the lister, isn't it? That's the Java code. The lister for Java. I think that's assignment 4. But would the game assignment be made in Replit? Yeah, the game assignment can be made in Replit. That's true. It can be. Don't worry about the game assignment quite yet, unless you're way ahead, unless you're just looking for something to do. But to be honest with you, try to get assignment 4 done, and at the same time, whenever you're bored or whenever you're too frustrated by the programming, do the web page, the IoT Internet of Things web page, okay, for assignment 5. So, I mean, like I said, it can take a couple of days. Like I could set the deadline to next Friday if you want, but I don't know if that means you would have to rush assignment 4. Just depends on where you're at really in programming. Now, there's also something else. If anyone is still behind in assignment 1 or 2, you still have a chance to hand it in for me to change the mark on your report card. I changed my first assignment, but you didn't change the mark yet. Okay. I mean, I'll give it a look now that, I'll give it a look. Okay. Is assignment 3 going to be marked on the report card? Okay, so like I say, I'm going to start marking assignment 3, but I'm not really serious about putting it on the report card. However, anyone who isn't done assignment 3 really ought to be finishing it. Just get it done and get the link put in the box and submit your work. Okay, we got to move on because, as you notice, I've already presented to you assignment 5. So if you're still on assignment 3, you're 2 assignments behind. That's not good. Okay, and for the sake of people who want feedback in a timely fashion, well, they're going to get their feedback maybe, hopefully, I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time over the weekend, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to end the meeting now. And oh, somebody's okay. Okay, all right. Okay. So okay, bye. I'm gonna end the meeting.